Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So we welcome everybody who is watching us today for our PDM presentation. So my name is Rashid Moussaid. I am from Morocco. I am a high school teacher of English at Asada High School. And me and my friends today are going to present you our PDM, and we hope that you will, like it and interact with us. Since we don't have audience here, so we depend on you for more interactivity. So stay tuned.
Good afternoon. My name is Ana Maria Alves. I am from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. In Rio, I am an English teacher, and I work for the first public bilingual school in Rio. And we have a kind of partnership with the American government. And so, in my case, I believe that this professional development model is very useful for the teachers, especially in my school.
Hello everyone, my name is Chassadi Boujouf, and I have been teaching English as a foreign language in Senegal for 15 years now. We are here to present you our professional development module, and we hope that you all will appreciate it and interact with us. Thank you. Okay, we start this presentation talking about the context, the different things that made us think about working on this kind of presentation. The first thing we thought about is that we all know that new teachers have many challenges when they start their first year as teachers. Everybody knows that it's never the same. What you imagine when you have a training is never the same when you get in the real situation. So we have been facing those kind of situations, and we know that it will be good for students, for teachers who just start to have mentors with them. And it is something, unfortunately, it is something we don't have in our schools most of the time. So we thought that that would be a good thing to have mentors, especially for those teachers. This is one of the reasons why we thought about working on this PDM. The next thing we thought about is right now we can say that many of the teachers have no or insufficient training. Pre-service training. When they leave, they just go into school without any prior training. If I take the example of my country, some of them don't have any training. They just get them from the university and they send them to school. So they have to learn things by doing, which means that this first generation of students are almost sacrificed. So we thought that that would be good for those kind of teachers to have mentors that can guide them in the beginning of their career and help them be familiar to the job and do what they have to do correctly. We also thought about the inability for the new teacher to bridge the theory practice gap. Like when you are in a training school, most of the time there is much theory. The practice is not as much as important. It's not as important as it should be. So when you go to school, you discover a different environment that is totally different from the theory you've been receiving. And most of the time they find it hard to apply all the theory in the schools. So one more reason why we thought that was important for us to have these mentors so that they can help those teachers who just start their career. Another point that is quite familiar is that when you start first, most of the time people are pointing to schools that are far from the center of the city, maybe a school that don't have many resources, and it is a difficult thing for them. And we also have the large classroom, which is one more reason why we thought about this PDM, and we want to talk about that later. Now we're going to talk about the needs and the rationale for the choice of this PDM. The first thing is that we experience right now a lack of training for teachers serving as mentors. Like we have many teachers, but the number of mentors is very limited. And most of the time, they just can't do the job correctly. So we think that it would be important to train more mentors so that these people can help new teachers or novice teachers be better prepared to do their job correctly. We also have the fact that practicing mentors, teachers do not know what to do exactly. They are just chosen because of their experience, but most of the time they never went through a training, so they don't know exactly what mentoring is about. People assume, they take it granted that these people have been teaching for a long time, so they should be able to do the job as mentors, which is not obvious because it takes another step, another level to be a mentor. You can be a good teacher without being a good mentor. So, and the last thing is our personal experiences. Like, we consider our personal experiences as teachers. If I take my example, in my country, I have worked as a mentor already, even if it's not official. I have been chosen to mentor somebody, even if I'm not officially a mentor. People base their choice on the fact that I've been teaching for many years. But does it mean that I'm good enough to be a mentor? That's the case. So it is the same situation with Ana Maya in Brazil, and I can say the same about Rashid in Morocco. It doesn't mean that you are a good teacher, that you are automatically a good mentor. And most of the time, the choice people make is based on that fact. So we think that it is important for us to have a kind of training for mentors, so that they can do their job in a better way. We will now want to talk about the objective of this workshop. We hope that by the end of the session, people will be able to describe what teacher mentoring is and its importance. Not only describe it, but be able to know and tell people what importance, what role it can play for new teachers. We also want people to be able to list the personal characteristic of effective teacher mentoring by the end of the session. And last, we would like people to be able to distinguish between effective and ineffective mentoring, because the way you're mentoring can be good or bad. So we need people to distinguish between what is effective and what is ineffective. So without further ado, I will let my colleague continue.
As it was said, most of the teachers, when they leave the university, they go, they get into classrooms and they have to work. And most of the times they go they have large groups. They go to schools where they don't have a lot of infrastructure. So most of these new teachers, they get into the classrooms without any prior training and without any previous experience. And this kind of problem doesn't happen just only with new teachers. Some teachers like me, I have about 20 years of teaching, and I remember that the first time I had a kind of help from someone from the school, it was exactly last year when my principal observed one of my classes, and he was able to talk to me and tell me what was going on inside my classroom, what I could have been done better. So it's very, this kind of lack of training, lack of previous experience, these problems can make most teachers, most of them, quit their jobs. They don't have satisfaction with their jobs. Some of them become sick because they struggle all the time. They want to do their best, but they face a lot of problems. So sometimes they just say, oh, I can't go on. I'm going to give up. And they know that they need help, but sometimes they don't know how to get this help. And I believe that most of us in our countries, we don't have somebody to help. Sometimes we have teachers who can help us, can give us some advice, but they are not well prepared to work as a mentor. That's the aim of our work here. They are just teachers like us. So when we are in our planning, in our meetings, we talk about our problems, we talk about our challenges, but sometimes we don't find an answer for what we need. So when I talked about experienced teachers, I believe that it is exactly what I had in mind. These problems, they can increase the quality of our work. So I can be a better teacher, but I need help. I need somebody to help me, you know? So our group, we believe that mentoring is in teacher professional development can be an answer and can be, who knows, the solution, right, for these teachers. Okay. Rashid, please. So here we have part of the definition of mentoring. Okay, let me see. Mary, could you help me? Could you read for me?
Mentoring is a collaborative learning relationship between individuals who share mutual responsibility and accountability for helping the mentee work toward the fulfillment of clear and mutually defined learning goals.
Okay, thank you. So when we talk about mentoring, we are talking about collaboration. We are talking about people who are working together because they develop a kind of a relationship between them, and they want to share responsibility. They want to share what they know, what they want to learn. And something very important in mentoring is the goals. We must have very clear in our minds what kind of goal we want to achieve. So when we talk about mentoring, we are talking about a process of guiding, of teaching, of influencing, and especially talking about support. We need to support ourselves, you know? And this kind of work in collaboration is going to be responsible, it's going to be useful for building our strengths as a teachers. As I said before, as a teacher, I know what I want. I know what I have to do, but sometimes I don't find the ways. I need someone to guide me, to tell me, oh, you can follow, you can go on this way. Let's try, let's do together. So that's the idea of mutual responsibility. We have to work together, okay? Something very important that we believe in mentoring is that a mentor, he is responsible for valuing the mentee's work. Everything that you know, everything that you do in your classroom, every kind of reading you do is important. Everything is important. And the mentor must be aware of this, and he must be prepared to listen. One of the great qualities of a mentor is to be a good listener. And the mentee must be a very good listener too. Okay? So, Ayub, can you help me?
Yes.
Could you read for me?
Mentoring is used to assist individuals at specific stages of development or transition and lasts for a sustained but defined period of time. The mentoring relationship provides a developmental opportunity for both parties and can thus be of mutual benefit.
Okay, thank you. That's what I was saying. When we talk about mentoring, you are there, you are the mentor, and you are there to help that teacher. So we have specific stages because we have new teachers. They are ready. They believe, oh, now I am a teacher, I know everything about, and I can be a wonderful teacher in the classroom. Take it easy. You know the theory. You need to have the practice. And it doesn't matter how many hours you spent at the college teaching and in a kind of internship. where you can really learn how to be a teacher inside the classroom. When you have to deal with different groups, people from different backgrounds, students who come to school sometimes without materials. They believe they don't need. So this is the kind of thing that we need. New teachers is the first stage. And people like me, 20 years of teaching, but I'm still learning. And I must keep this in my mind. Every day I'm learning. I'm learning with my students inside the classroom. I'm learning with my friends in my school. We are always learning, all the time. And this idea, just to finish, this idea of benefit. When you think about a mentor, you must have in mind, it's not only the mentee who is going to get some benefits, the mentor too, because you are going to help a teacher today, 2 months later you are going to help another one, so every teacher is going to contribute with you with something different. We know that most of the schools, they provide personnel to support the teachers. But as I said before, sometimes we don't have indeed a mentor. We had just a teacher who knows a little bit more, and this person is interested in doing something more, okay? Sometimes we have people inside the schools, they are there to observe our classes, to demonstrating techniques and offering some advice. But we know that most of the teachers, they don't feel comfortable having somebody inside their classrooms. They believe that this person inside the classroom is not there to help, is there to judge what he is doing in the classroom. And most of these teachers, they also believe that it doesn't matter if you have a kind of intervention, but you don't have an implementation planning, it's not going to work. So most of these teachers, they decide, okay, I don't want a mentor, I don't want. Okay? So thinking about mentoring, I believe that the idea of having mentors inside classrooms is good because you can improve the staff relationships. And I can give an example, a personal example. In my school, I believe that's why I decided to take this PDM, this professional development model. We need a mentor inside my school. We need somebody to make our relationship in the school better, right? As I said before, what means to have a mentor? I need somebody to support me, to encourage me. I needed to be aware of what I need, of what I want, what are my students' needs, what I can do for my students, because we have objectives, but we have also goals. So it's really important to have somebody in the classroom, or in the school helping. And collaborative partnership. I believe this is one of the most important things in mentoring. We have to work together. And when I talk about collaborative partnership, I'm talking about to have a kind of dialogue between the mentor and the mentee. We have to share our ideas. We have to identify the kind of intervention that we need and we are going to put into practice. We have to decide what kind of instruction it would be useful and it would be better for my students, right? One of the ways of working in a collaborative way is by modeling. But this word modeling, people have in mind, oh, I'm going to do what I see. No, it's not the idea of do what I do. Modeling is much more than just to show you how to employ best practices or demonstrating techniques. When I talk about modeling, I'm talking about adjustment. I have, as a mentor, I have to talk to my mentee, and I have to tell him, okay, so let's think about what you need. Let's think about what kind of classroom you have. So according to what is my reality, my mentor will be able to help me. Okay, so for this professional development model, you have been chosen as the best teachers to get a training to learn about the strategies for effective mentoring. So that's our aim.
Okay, hello everyone. So as my friends have said, so this is the objective of our PDM, which is to train teachers just like you. And I would like you now to imagine that you are the best teachers who have been chosen to serve as mentors. And this PDM is just tailored just for you. So it is meant to give you an introduction to what mentoring is about and how to support teachers and all about the dynamics of the relationship between the mentor and the mentee. So the activity we have chosen from our PDM to share with you today. So before we go into the activity, just a little context to see where it is situated in our PDM. So PDM is divided in 3 sessions. And session number 1, this activity we are going to share with you today is taken from session number 1, which is mainly about an introduction to the meaning of mentoring, and also the difference between mentoring, coaching, informal mentoring, formal mentoring, and also to show the benefits and the needs for having well-trained teachers to serve as mentors. So activity number 1, as I said, we're going to share with you just in a moment, is to show the benefits of mentoring on new teachers and on the school as a whole. So this is the activity we're going to share. And after that, in session number 2, it's mainly about the personal characteristics and the competencies of an effective teacher. So there are some case studies for participants to analyze, and also some role plays where the participants, just like you, will act out just as good mentor, a bad mentor, just to show the benefits of good mentoring and the qualities of a good mentor. The last session is about the best practices. So what do effective mentors do in actual context? So here, they will be providing with the best practices and then having the participants to talk about these practices and reflect on them in an attempt to have an insight into the inside world of an effective mentor. So today's activity, it's about the benefits of mentoring. And we depend on you to be very interactive with us. And I believe that you have the link to the Symbolo page where you can get the handout. So we can give it to you just like that. So I believe you have it there. So my friend is passing around the handouts, and we're going to begin with question number 1. So in waiting to get my handout, you can please go and to the link and get the handout. So my question to you is, when you started working as a teacher during the first year, so what are the major problems you faced? Just name them, I mean, give names. So this is question number 1 before we go into the video and watch it together. Yes, can anyone share with us the problems? Yes, Ayub?
Some of the problems that I met with when I started the teaching, I was to teach large classes, and I didn't know how to deal with those large classes.
Yeah, good. So large classes,
yes.
So it's hard.
Yeah.
So you're struggling with the methodology, then you have to manage the students and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah, good. Another problem?
Discipline strategies. I didn't
Yes.
always have enough strategy
Yeah.
to learn that worked.
Yeah, so the arsenal of a new teacher to manage the class, which is kind of sometimes discipline, it's really very limited, you know? So here, lack of strategies to manage indiscipline in the classroom. Yes, other problems? Okay, another question. So when you face these problems, how did you solve them? I mean, was it individual work? Did you consult anybody for, yes?
For me, I talked to a friend of mine. He's a teacher of English, and he's an experienced teacher. And he helped me, he gave me guidance, and he showed me the right path to follow when education and teaching is concerned.
Yeah, so you consulted a colleague of yours who
Yeah,
is more
he's
experienced in the
yes.
field,
Exactly.
ask for more effective ways how to solve their problems.
Yeah.
Good. Mary, do you have any idea?
The same thing, but I think I also tried to search
Yeah,
for
good. So
in
through,
textbooks and things for
Good.
ideas.
good. So through reading and, you know, trying to educate yourself on new ways how to solve your problems, which is also a good way. And also, Now, before we show you the video, I would like you to watch the video and answer these questions. I believe you are seeing the handout right now. So how are mentors selected? So the video they are going to talk about how mentors are selected. You just let me know. And question number 5, what are some of the practices of a mentor? So, and number 6, the last question is, what are some benefits of mentoring on new teachers? So you're gonna watch the video and then write down your answers, and I'm going to get back to you after the video.
In Hillsborough County, every first and second year teacher gets paired with a mentor.
How's it going?
Great.
This is my 13th year in education. I have 14 first and second year teachers.
I went to college on baseball scholarship. When we had batting practice, our coach was a stickler. He was trying to train me out of my bad habits. Miss Thornton is my coach here. Miss Thornton is my mentor.
Only the best teachers are chosen to become mentors.
Once they're selected, they go into a training program that really helps them to become good mentors.
I'm sitting in my class trying to teach, and it'll be just like an outburst.
But you're gonna get a negative number.
Does she normally wear sunglasses in class?
If it's not disruptive, then I'll kind of let it ride.
Okay, she is running the show.
You're gonna get negative 25. Oh, you're gonna get 125.
So what she told me to do is to get them more involved in my lesson. Oh my goodness, good job. Okay, now.
I come in and do classroom observations, questions that the students are asking, that the teacher is asking, the behaviors, how they're interacting with each other.
She's like really good. Like she sits in the corner with the laptop. And she gets every word. I don't know how.
I just gather evidence. We look at the evidence and we talk about what could have improved the lesson or what went well in that lesson.
You're like CSI for teaching.
Yes, I am.
Crime scene investigator.
That's true. I like that.
The mentors provide the passion
I like teaching. It's 24 hours.
and their cell phone numbers.
Yeah, I tell them, call me anytime. Email, yes. We text a lot.
You know, how about this? What do you think? Bouncing things off Trinity left and right. She's been my backbone.
I can't imagine doing this on my own without the kind of support.
I tell people that I don't feel like a second-year teacher anymore.
Since the mentor program started, new teacher retention has gone from 72 to 94%.
The kids want to be here and teachers want to work here.
All right, good job, Lisa.
This is just one story of a school's success. Imagine if more first and second year teachers like Jared and Chris had mentors like Trinika. If we gave educators the support to teach the way forward and change America's classrooms.
We want our students to be lifelong learners, right? So as teachers, that's what we need to be.
Okay, hello back. So what do you think about mentors, how they are selected?
Only the best teachers are chosen.
Very good. So the best teachers are chosen because of their experience teaching. Good, very good, excellent. Okay, number 2, what are some of the practices of a mentor at work?
meeting with the teachers regularly.
Very good. So regular meeting with the teacher and consultation. Very good. Another one.
Observing the class.
Very good. Classroom
to observe,
observation.
yeah.
So it is very
Yeah,
major
to
part of getting an idea about how the teacher is doing, and then gathering some evidence, and also collecting information about the problems that teacher has, and also working on them later on in a post-lesson conference where they talk together and try to find solutions. Okay, very good. Are there other practices? And also, if you have noticed, the language of the mentor is using the pronoun we. So here, the mentor is putting himself or herself at the same footing as the new teacher, which goes back to what my friend talked about, the collaborative partnership where they work as peers, as colleagues, not somebody who knows more than the other, or, you know. So here, the relationship is very important and gives meaning to the mentoring process. And when the new teacher feels that he is appreciated, and he is really treated as an equal, not as somebody who is minor, so this gives him, more motivation to be open to feedback, to learn new things. So this is very important.
And availability.
And availability, yeah. You see the
She
video?
is always ready to help the
Very good,
mentee,
yeah.
whatever, at
Yeah.
school or
Yeah.
by phone.
Good. Now, what are some of the benefits of mentoring of new teachers? Just some that mentioned.
Improving education.
Very good. Improving education. Good. For kids. Excellent. What else?
Fine tunes the mentor's skills.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, to fine tune mentor skills. Very good. Another one?
Keeping the teachers.
Very good. This is very important. And this is very true of the US. So according to statistics, 50% of teachers leave the profession during the first or the second year maximum. So having mentoring support in the school gives these teachers really the support they need to stick around and stay in the profession a very longer time. Okay? Now let's finish with this question very quickly. So I would like you to reflect back on, so this takes us to the last question, which says, reflect back on a mentor, somebody who really gave you support and was mentor to you, and tell us what are the characteristics, what made this person really impactful on your life, maybe in teaching or in other aspects of your life. Just state the qualities.
Easy to talk to and understanding.
Yeah, very good. Understanding, easy to talk to, approachable. Good.
Caring.
Caring, very good.
Gave me skills that I didn't have before.
Very good. Imparting new skills.
Right.
Very good. New knowledge.
And talking about skills, I remember that indeed, I didn't have a mentor, but I had a very special teacher when I started working as a teacher, who was very important to me, because I remember that the first time I got into a classroom was to work in a military school. So it was something very, it was a challenge for me, because it was a military school, and I got one of the most graduate students. So I faced a very unique problem. I had the best students of the school, and we were using a kind of textbook that most of the students in that group, they had already used it in their language schools. So my class, it was new for them. I was repeating myself into the classroom. So I didn't have a mentor, but I had a teacher who was responsible for helping me. And she gave me, you have to develop your skills, you have to do this kind of work. So it was a teacher, and she said she was caring, she worked together.
Yeah, thank you, Ana Maria.
Yeah.
So what Mary has just said is a typical example of informal mentoring, meaning it's not really a part of the system of the school, but just colleagues together, they decide together to help each other learn more and more. So this is more informal, and it is very effective, because the relationship decides on what kind of learning should take place between the two. And if I'm comfortable with her, she's comfortable with me. So this opens the door for more learning that goes two ways. So it's a bi-directional learning experience for both of us, as mentioned in the definition. So both the mentor and the mentee, benefit from the experience. And currently, we have new teachers coming to the profession. They come with a lot of technology because they are already digital natives. So those teachers, experienced teachers who are experienced in the classroom teaching, they like this kind of information and skills. So here we talk about what is called reverse mentoring. So new teachers might be able to teach experienced teachers new stuff that they haven't been able or had the chance to learn. So we believe that mentoring is very important for both the mentor and the mentee. So
yeah, and to add to this, if you go back to the video, you can see that the lady on the video has been talking about texting a lot with the mentee, working with them outside normal hours of working. So this is very important. You should be able to develop a relationship that goes beyond the professional one, because everything doesn't have to be only formal. Sometimes people feel more comfortable when you approach them informally. They are more willingly to talk about their problems compared than if you come in a much formal way. So it's good to be formal, but informality is also an important element in mentoring. People need to be comfortable with you, and this can only be done when you are able to build strong relationship with them that go beyond the professional one. So yes, informal mentoring is very important.
My case specifically, as I said before, I work in a bilingual school. So all the teachers who work with me, they have to know English. And we work in a kind of a dual immersion. So, for example, a chemistry teacher, he has to teach 90% of his class in Portuguese and 10% in English. And he has to use this 10% in exploring the 4 skills: listening, writing, reading, speaking. So thinking about my school specifically, mentoring, it's very useful because we needed to share with new teachers and with teachers from different subjects the importance of working together. I am the English teacher, but the school doesn't work around English teachers. You know, we needed to show to the chemistry teacher, to the biology teacher, that they needed to work in collaboration with us. So I am just a teacher of English. I'm not a mentor yet, but I can work in this way. I can help my other teachers, the chemistry, the biology one. I can tell, okay, let's go on. I can help you. I can, what kind of challenges are you facing? So I can help them to develop, yeah?
Yeah, thank you, Ana Maria, thank you. So there is a question that he asked guys about what kind of strategies we're, using for our PDM training. So I'm going to mention some of them. So number one, which is very important, is establishing trust. So you cannot just come in and tell a teacher that I'm going to help you to learn this and that, but we have to build that trust between the two people. So trust building is the building block of the whole relationship. So if there is trust, both people, the mentor and the mentee, trust each other. So learning is very probable to take place. The other one is developing goals. So once the trust is established, we develop goals. So what are the problems? And then we establish goals, and then we work towards them. The second one is to ask questions, rather give answers. So as a mentor, you've got to listen to the mentee. What kind of questions that concern the new teacher? So through those questions, you can collect information about what are the problems of this new teacher, and then you can help out work in, set a plan to work towards the achievement of this problem. Okay? Yes?
Okay, I'll add to something to this. Getting to know the mentee, we also thought that was something important. before you work with somebody, it's important to get to know him, know which kind of person he is, how does he function in some situation. So it makes it easier for you to have a good relationship. We also thought that it's important to balance talking and listening when you have feedback with mentees. You have to be a good listener, not to be the guy who is always giving feedback or input. You need to listen to him. You need to balance the talking and the listening. Give him importance so that he will feel important and be able to interact with you correctly. Because you are not here to show him that you are the best one. You're here to be at his level and make a relationship good so that you can exchange in a better way. So these are some of the strategies we believe can be used for good mentoring.
I'm going to give you some questions that have come up in the chat.
Yes.
One of the questions that came is, we have no mentor teachers in our country. Do you have any reaction to that? Any suggestions that you have?
Well, this actually is the basic objective why we have developed this module. Because in my country, for example, I'm working currently as a teacher trainer, and the mentor teachers we're collaborating with, they have had no training before. So sometimes we find that they're not really doing the job as it should be, and maybe they are excused because they don't know, they have never got any training before. So when I came here and I got these guys really interested, in the topic, we got on board and created this module, which will give these teachers an idea about how mentoring should work and the expectations of the mentee from the mentor. So yes, in my country too, we don't have any training whatsoever for mentors, but this is a good starting point for us to develop a module for these new people.
Yes, in my special case, I have been already used as a mentor. I have already been used as a mentor, but I have never had any training as a mentor. People assume that I can do it just because I've been teaching for many long, for let's say 15 years. But being a good teacher doesn't mean being a good mentor. So we definitely need teachers to be trained to be mentors, and this is one of the reasons. I mean, it really applies to my situation in my country. We have many teachers, but we don't have any mentors.
Yeah, and I've got a lot of questions coming in. How do we deal with some uncooperative teachers who don't want to be helped?
Oh, yeah.
Well, this is actually a good question. We have just talked about trust building. So if it is a formal mentoring system, so the selection has to be rigorous, and this should be really put higher on the agenda of the criteria that should be, paid attention to. So people who would like to mentor new teachers, they have to be open to new learning, especially about the how to mentor, because there is a misconception going around that a good teaching leads to good mentoring, which is completely false. Because sometimes we have excellent teachers, and I have had cases of trainees who come to me and said, well, that person is an excellent teacher, but a bad mentor. So this shows that mentoring takes on a new whole set of skills and strategies that cannot be just learned through normal classroom teaching, but there should be some sort of, training, okay? And here I would like you to refer you to a very interesting reference about we depended on to develop our module, which is Knight's book, which is called Instructional Coaching. I recommend this book. It's very interesting, very helpful, and it gives you ready-made recipes to develop your own plan, how to help other teachers, and how to get them on board and collaborate, and they benefit from you, and you benefit from them.
Yeah, to come back on this, there is one important element in that book which is talking about emotional, not that book, but another book that's talking about emotional intelligence. Meaning, how can you use your personal relationship as an individual for the benefit of the professional work we are having with somebody. So these are some strategies. We know that it's quite natural, normal. It's almost normal for teachers to be reluctant to receive some help because you make them feel that they are not good. But it's up to you as a mentor to be at their level, to show them that you are not here to teach them, but you're here to share them. So the book my friend mentioned a while back, Knight book, which is dealing with instructional coaching, or the book by Goldman, which is about emotional intelligence, can be very interesting for this. If you read them, you have all the things you need to be a good mentor.
Another question. And we have a few minutes, so I'm going to try and get through the questions quickly. How do you differentiate between a mentor and just an experienced teacher?
Yeah, okay, very simple terms. So a mentor is somebody who has got training in how to mentor, you know? But a good teacher, so we believe altogether that somebody who has had a long experience in the classroom teaching students. But this is the basic difference between the two. I mean, so to become for a good teacher to become a mentor, so he or she has to go through some training. As I said before, mentoring takes a new whole set of skills and strategies and attitudes and competencies to be really a good mentor. So being a good teacher is not really that enough.
And I believe that, for example, in my school, what I don't have a mentor. I have somebody who knows a little bit more than me. So this person is doing a kind of informal coaching to me. And the mentor is the guy who is more prepared. He did more research. He got into training. So this mentor is the person who is going to work with formal coaching.
Yeah, I would say that a mentor is more than a teacher. Like as a teacher, you can be very good when it comes to classroom management, how to deliver a lesson and things like that. But mentoring is a different step. I mean, that's a different level. You have to have other qualities different from the one you need to teach. So you can be a good teacher, but it doesn't mean that you're a good mentor.
Exactly.
You need to be able to develop other relationships, not only professional, but you need to be able to understand people, talk to them. Yeah.
Yeah, another question about working with, as a mentor, you're talking about the management part of helping somebody manage teaching and then the personal relationship that you have with them. And so one comment was about the difficulty of having a professional and a personal relationship and how those two can be misinterpreted in a lot of ways.
Yeah, this is actually a very interesting, a good question. And as I said before, so one of the strategies of a good mentor is building trust, building relationship, building that personal connection between him and the person he intends to mentor. So when this trust is built, you know, so later on, this lays the foundation for future learning. So when there is that stress and connection, and also my friend talked about the emotional intelligence and how to get people on board, you know, when managing emotions and getting them to like what you're interested in and your intention to help people out. So once this relationship, personal relationship, is built on trust, then later on the professional stuff will take care of itself.
Yeah, some of the examples we met when we were doing the research about this PDM were that I met an example that I found very interesting. I would like to share it with you. One good way of doing this would be, for example, after observing a teacher, I can propose him to do the feedback outside the environment of the school. So when people go outside of the environment of working, they're free from different. So you're creating another relationship between you, and he feels comfortable when you take him out of it. It's no longer the relationship between somebody who is here to observe me, but you take him out of the environment of school, and then you can have a very informal discussion. And this is building trust, as my friend Terry said a while back. And once they trust you, then they can tell you more about their difficulties. Yes. And you are more comfortable, the relationship is better this way.
One more question, because we're running over time, but I think it's a good question, and maybe each of you could respond to this question. And it kind of summarizes what I think your talk was about. What tips would you give to mentors who cannot think outside of the box? So you might need to take a minute to think about that.
Well, I mean, the easiest answer to say, well, leave the job to somebody else. Please really to think out of the box. If I am a mentor and I'm not ready to learn about how to mentor well, it's better for me to leave the job to somebody else who is really interested and he has a passion for helping new teachers to learn about the profession. So this is my quick response to it. I mean, there is no way how to make somebody learn when he or she does not really motivated at all how to learn. You can take a horse to the river, but you cannot make it drink. So this proverb actually
Yeah.
applies to the letter.
Okay,
That's it.
but let's just say
Yeah.
you were challenged with the idea of getting someone to think out of the box.
Yeah.
If as a mentor, what would you
Yeah, I think that one of the most important thing is try to understand the reason why he's like that. That would be very interesting to try to analyze a little bit the reason that make him think that way. Once you discover that, then you can have a plan and see what you can do together. What is important to know is that humility has a big role to play in this. If you come with humility, you don't take yourself as somebody who is very important. Most of the time, people work with you. Most of the time, they are reluctant when they see some kind of bossy attitude in your relationship. But if you humble, most of the time, they are willing to work with you. One more thing is that you should never give up just because the first attempt wasn't good. If you have an approach and it doesn't work, step back, think about something, and come back with another thing. So because it would be dangerous to let them just because they are unable to think outside the box. I think that if we do this, we save. And our goal is to have better teachers in the schools, and we believe that mentoring can play a big role. So definitely we can try to find strategies for that.
Anna, last word?
I'm thinking about myself. I believe I am a good teacher, but now I am thinking out of the box. So I am preparing myself to be a mentor, but I have to do a lot of things.
Yeah, so finally, we would like really to thank you so much for your interaction, and we are really pleased with the questions that you have asked, and this really shows your interest and you were following us very closely. We thank you so much for everything, and we thank the guys here that are doing the job, and we really wish you good luck if you have presented, or good luck if you haven't presented, and thank you so much.
I would like to say a few words to all the people who are watching us, my friend from Senegal, my family, and thank to you all.
Shukran.
Play the music.